Okay, welcome to this tutorial on how to use Avenger's actions in Photoshop. Before we begin, you're going to need a couple things. You're going to need Avenger's actions. You're going to need those, download them. I'll have the links for everything you need in the description below. So unzip the actions, put them on your desktop or somewhere that you can easily access them. Okay, then you're going to need to install the said actions. So let's see if I can't. Let's go to Window, go to Actions, and I'm going to drag it out here and make it smaller so we can see what's going on. Okay, first and foremost, open up Photoshop, click here, right there, go to Load Actions, and you're going to go look under the t-shirt folder, I do believe, and you'll see an ATN file along with a PSD file. First, load the ATN file. After you click this, go to and load your ATN file. That will load up your action, and you should see a folder that says shirt, simple logo front M, simple logo back M. That's the shirt logo action installed. That's really all we're going to be working with today. Okay? Now, open up the shirts PSD. That's what I have opened here. It should be in the folder with the action. And as you'll see, you'll have a shirt layer. And he's put a color overlay so you can change the color. And then he's got examples of logos. I'm just giving you a basic look of what the original file looks like. For me, I use these sometimes if I need to tweak the placement. I will use these as guidelines. But for this tutorial, all we need is the shirt layer. So I'm going to close this because I've made a copy of this file just for this tutorial. So I'm going to close this. No, I don't want to save changes. Now here is the shirt tutorial. And all I have, these two you don't need to know about, but I do have the shirt. These two we won't mess with right now. But I have the shirt layer. That's all we need right now. Okay. You've got that. Now we need a logo that we want to put on the shirt. For this tutorial, I'm going to do two logos, one kind of easy, one not so easy. Well, I wouldn't say not so easy. It's still there, but you might have to do an extra step depending what you want. So here's the Pro Wrestling Tees. This is the easy logo. Can you guess why? If you said because it doesn't have a background, bingo. Those are the easiest logos to do. And I'm going to give you a tip. If you're going to do logos, go for big logos. The bigger the image in dimensions, and if it has a blank background, those are perfect because when you resize it down, you won't lose a lot of detail. Well, you're going to lose detail, but it just saves a step of having to sharpen, even though I still sharpen it. But for demonstration purposes, this will be fine. And then for the harder, a medium style logo, we've got this one. Before we can use it, we have to take it off the black background. And I'll show you when we get to that point how to take it off the black background. Then you have another step, a logo that's even harder. Say if it had this logo and in the back was an arena shot or something that wasn't just a plain color, it would step the difficulty just a little bit to remove that image. Okay, so let's get started. Let's go to Pro Wrestling Tees logo. Now, I want to click the Move tool right here. And on your keyboard, hold Shift, click the logo, hold it, and let's drag it to our shirts layer. And let go. It should be center. Okay. One thing I haven't done, let me do this real quick. I'm going to create a background layer. I'm going to name it BG for, well, not BF, BG for background. And I'm going to fill it with a green, neon green looking color. That just helps things pop. You can see it better. It will not be in the final. Okay. And let's hide the shirt. Now we've got the background layer and we've got Pro Wrestling Tees, the logo, the original logo. Now this is my workflow. You can do it any way you want, but for me, this helps me keep things together. Let's name the original logo Original. We haven't done anything to it except moving it to this file. Okay. We're going to make a copy of this. There's two ways you can make a copy. Right click, duplicate layer, or you can click and drag it down there to the little page button, note button. So, either way you can do that. There's probably other ways to duplicate. We're going to name this Resized. We haven't resized it yet, but we will. Now, since our image is kind of small, and I recommend doing this for any logo you use, we want to prevent it from blurring when we are resizing. So to do that, we need to convert it to a smart object. If your version of Photoshop does not have smart objects, the best thing you'll be able to do is once you resize is to sharpen it. That's really the only thing I knew. Okay, so let's turn this into a smart object. Right click the resize layer, convert to smart object. Okay, you see, it's a smart object now. I'm going to go ahead and add a filter, a sharpen filter to it. With smart objects, it creates a smart filter. That filter will sharpen it depending on how I resize it in real time. I do believe that's the way that goes. Okay, now from previous, when I was setting this up, I tested this. I know this logo needs to be a little smaller because when I run the action, it's wider on the shirt. So let's resize it. You can go to Edit, Free Transform, or Control T. Okay, you see the bounding box. Good. Go up here, click this link. Now we're going to hold Shift, and whichever side you click on, click and hold, and let's move it in to resize a little bit. Let go, hit enter. Now I know that looks confusing because I still have the original, so let's hide that layer. Now resizing it made it where it's off center. So let's center that. An easy way to do it, make sure your move tool is selected. Go to Control A. Now you see the whole thing is selected. Up here we want to align vertical centers. Click that. And then align horizontal centers. Click that. Now it is centered. Go to Select, Deselect. Now we still can't really use this layer resized right here because the action will only work if the layer is titled Layer 1. So again, so I have a backup and I ain't got to redo this again. I'm going to duplicate this smart object, duplicate it, and this is called, I'm going to call it Layer 1. That's what you have to have. So you got to make sure nothing else in your layer list is called Layer 1 before you run that action. Okay, let's turn off this resize. Now we've got to take this and rasterize it because it cannot be a smart object. So right click, rasterize layer. Alright, now it's time to run the action. Go to actions. If your actions aren't like mine, you can just go to window, actions right there. For this example, we're going to do a front logo. So, one thing before I do the logo. If you want to make it colorable, you need to make it white. You can do that by going to Image, Adjustments, Brightness Contrast, or Hue of Saturation. And if you make it white, when you import it into the game, you'll be able to make it any color. For this demonstration purpose, I'm going to leave it black, and we'll put it on maybe a red or white t-shirt. Okay? So let's go ahead and run this, click it, then go down here, click play. And you're seeing over here, all these layers are starting to pop up. This is the workflow that Avenger used when he created the logos. He was able to report it so anybody else with Photoshop could have it automatically done. It saves a lot of time. Okay, it looks like it got a little blurry, so I might have resized it. Sometimes you get this, just click stop. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that may be too little, but I know we're going to have to sharpen it. So let's see what we have here. First, let's go to select, deselect. Here's our new logo. It's called, the action calls it logo. So let's go to filter, sharpen, sharpen more. That's really low, so we're small. So let's turn our t-shirt logo on. Where's our t-shirt logo? Okay, here we go, t-shirt. Let's take the color off. Yeah, that is too small. So we're going to scrap this one. We're going to put the eye back on the resize, hide the shirt. We're going to go to edit, free transform, click the link, hold shift, and this time we're going to drag it up and out a little bit. We don't want it too big. Let's see how this does. Now since we resized it, we've got to recenter. Control A. Okay, align vertical centers, align horizontal center. Then go select, deselect. Okay, right click the resize smart object, duplicate it, name it layer 1. We got to rasterize the layer so it's a regular layer. Okay, now let's try this again. Actions, got to scroll up to the top, simple logo. Now let's let it go through. Let's just see if it's sized correctly. And it's going through each layer like I said it before. This action, bless Avenger for making these because they're a time saver. You don't have to go in and adjust each sprite manually. So yeah, very big time saver. Okay, it's still going. Should be getting close. Okay. Let's see what we got. Okay, that looks a little better. I can actually tell what it's saying. Let's look at t-shirt. Let's put the t-shirt layer on. Oh, wrong one. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in. Let's see. We got a little, looks like a little hanging off. There's some blurry spots. So let's go filter. Let's go to sharpen, sharpen more. There we go. There we go. Even though it's still a little blurry, I think that helps. Now we got a little overhang. Let me zoom in and see if you can see. See that little overhang? Let's fix that. Let's go back to fit screen. Well, no, let's do 100%. Okay. Holding control, you're going to click your shirt layer here. See how it's got that little square underneath the pointer? With that, click it. Now our t-shirt is selected. Okay. Make sure your logo layer is selected. Go down here and click layer mask. What that did, it deleted anything that was outside the boundaries of our shirt. So now that overhang should be gone. And you see the logo is where we need it on each t-shirt, so it will all be visible on the front. For my taste, I think that's still a little too wide for that logo, but for tutorial, we're going to keep it, okay? Alright, let's see. What else did I do? Oh, El Waster on the Discord, I'll include a link. He showed some people how to add a little depth to the logo. So this method is a shout out to him. It's a way that he did it, and I kind of throw in my own twist in there, but his is the basic method that he showed. Okay, we're going to take our shirt, we're going to duplicate it. Let's call this depth. We're going to drag it above our logo. Let's get rid of the effect. Now, can't see nothing. It's covering everything up. So what we need to do, control click our logo that we made. Now it's selected. You see that? Okay, good. With the depth layer selected, we're going to hit the layer mask. And that's going to put it over. We're going to need to change the color of the shirt, I think. So okay, it's white here, but you see, there it is. Alright, so let's change the blend mode. I like using either overlay, soft light, or hard light. For this one, I'm going to use soft light. Might need to use, hold on, let's see, hard light. Let's try that. Hard light works better, and then we're going to bring the opacity down. And you see it gives a little shine or a little shading. It will look better if we had a different color logo. But it just gives it a little extra highlight. Okay, I'm thinking that's good, so let me show you how to export it. Turn off your background layer. Turn off your shirt layer. Before you export it, you just need the depth layer and your actual logo. That's the only thing that needs to be seen. Everything else needs to be cleared by clicking the eye. Now you'll go to File, Export, Export As, and it's going to take a little bit depending on your system. I don't know why Export As is really laggy on my laptop. But here we go. You'll get this screen. It will show you your sprites. You want to make sure smaller file is checked. And I usually leave everything else like it is. And you go to Export All. And then there you'll be able to pick a place to save it and name it. So I would name this front logo m.png, and it would save it, then I could upload it. That's a big thing you have to remember. This is just for the medium sized shirt. this shirt is medium. If you wanted to do it for small, you would have to find a small shirt, and I'll show you how to go past that. And you can get these parts. I do believe Avenger was the one that uploaded all the parts from the base game and I think DLC. And they have it to different sizes, so you could go through, pick the size you want. Okay. So before we start this, I'm going to right click on the layer mask, and I'm going to go to apply layer mask. And I'm going to do it for depth as well, apply layer mask. Okay. Let's hide this shirt. This is the medium shirt right here. Let's hide it. This is t-shirt from the files I was telling you about that is small. Let's make it white. Now, in order to make sure, let me drag this down. There we go. In order to make sure we don't have any off the edges, we have to control click our t-shirt small layer. See how it's selected? Click your logo layer, then click layer mask. Alright. Looks like, yeah. Okay. Now, I'm going, just for the sake of the tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and apply this layer mask. I'm going to control click. So my logo is selected. Select depth, and then add another layer mask. Now let's see what this shirt would look like if we put a different color. So you double click color overlay and it should open. Let's say what orange would look like. Okay, that's a little too bright. Let's try green. Or blue, or yeah, something like that. You get the idea. We can see the color. And we can adjust the opacity of the depth to add more shine if you want. And if you want to, you can even add, go to select the depth layer, go to filter. Oh, accidentally double clicked it. Go to filter, and you can just do a regular sharpen. Just to give it a little more. And I'm just going through here, looking to see what might be the best. But that's for more experimenting on your part, I guess. So I'm going to stick with overlay, and I'll bring, or no, I said it was hard light, didn't I? Yeah, and we're going to bring it down. Let's go back to 100%. So that's the basics of it. Like I said, I showed you how to export it, and that's how you would do. Well, that's the way I do my workaround for different shirt sizes. You just bring in the size of shirt. If you want a large shirt, bring it in and follow the same steps. And I hope I'm not going too fast. I'm trying to take it easy, but if I am, just take your time, pause it, follow the steps, and I hope you can I'm making it understandable. Okay, this time we're gonna, just for organization purposes, I'm gonna create a folder. I'm gonna name this front logo. I do this when I finish a logo, I'll add them. So we're gonna shift and click both of them and drag them into the front. Now they're in that folder. I'm going to turn the eyes off. I'm going to turn the short Well, we'll leave that on. Okay. Let's do the back logo. And I will put these as well into the front logo. That way if I need to go back and make adjustments. So we can close out this logo, we just did it. Let's go to this one. Okay, before we can move this one over, we gotta get rid of the background. But before I do that, I take a necessary precaution and I duplicate the layer. I just call it background copy. Turn off the visibility of the bottom one. This is just if I mess up, I ain't got to keep going to edit, undo, edit, undo. I could just trash that layer, recopy the background, you know, the original. Okay. So there's multiple ways you can, this logo, you can select it. Let's say I just want to remove the black in the background, but I want to keep the paradox black. I want to keep all the black in there as well. We take the magic wand tool or W key and then we select it. Now we click, with that layer selected, we click the layer mask. Now look what happened. The logo's gone, but the black background is still there. That's okay. With layer mask, black hides, white reveals. So as you see here, the logo shape is black, the background is white. Let's quickly change that. Click on the layer mask and hit Control I. There we go. That's one way. Now let's say if you want to remove the black here and in the letters and up in here too. We'll go another way. We'll go to select color range and we'll select the black, and you could come in here and adjust the sliders, but I don't really need to do that. So we're just going to go to OK. Let's hit our layer mask. And you see what it did? So we need to Control I or inverse it. Now it took all the black out. So let's give us a background. Let's say we'll do green again. See, I personally prefer it like that. So that's the logo we'll use. But I'm just showing you two ways that you can select and try to isolate the logo from the background. Some will be harder. So that's what I always suggest. Find one with a blank background or one with a plain color, you know. Alright, so I'm going to apply this layer mask. Let's click on our move tool. Let's shift, click and hold, and let's drag it. Alright. Now let's see, I need to go to... Alright, we'll just do this. I need to this is the background, so this is, let's say, what's our original logo? I'm going to put OG for short. Now we already know this is going to be really huge, so we're never going to have to resize it. So let's duplicate, resized. Let's turn off the OG layer. Now we've got to convert the resized to a smart object, just like this. Now we go to Edit, Free Transform or Control T. We're going to click here, hold Shift, click the corner, and let's drag it down. And set about right there, hit Enter. Now we need to center it, so Control A, and then align vertical centers, and align horizontal centers. Now, okay, we got that. We got to duplicate it one more time. Remember, we have to name it what? Layer 1, right? And you have to make sure you put the space after layer and then 1. If you just put layer 1, no space, it will mess up the action. Alright, we're going to right click, rasterize. For this one, I didn't do the sharpening. I will probably have to do sharpening after it's done. We'll just have to see. I've got to go select, deselect. Always make sure you deselect, because if you run the action with it selected, that will cause problems. Let's go through and make sure we don't have any other layer 1s. Nope. Okay, let's go to actions. And then click simple logo back in. Okay, and then click play. And it's going to do its thing. Now the other actions for trunks and stuff like that, it's pretty much the same thing. You just have to worry about the mirroring, especially with calves and thighs, stuff like that. It could get a little harder, especially for me, because I'm still not, I don't have the visual of which side of the thigh is which. But that will come with time, I know. Alright, so we have the logo. Looks like pretty good placement to me. Pretty good placement. And it looks kind of sharp. I think I may run sharpness over it again. But before we do, let's go to select, deselect. Oh, and for some reason the back logo action doesn't have its final layer called logo. It's called layer 1 copy 8. I'm not sure why, but it's not a big deal. So let's go to filter. Let's go to sharpen. There we go. Now we're gonna do this for a small shirt. So we're gonna control click a small shirt. Make sure our logo is active. Hit the layer mask. And now we shouldn't have any hanging off. Nope. Okay, let's see. That, I think it's pretty much, oh, we need to do the depth. Well, you don't have to, but I like to. So we're going to take the shirt, small shirt, duplicate it, name it depth. Let's drag it above our logo. While we're here, I'm going to rename this logo so I know. There. Let's turn off the colors. Let's apply the layer mask on our logo. We're going to hold Control and click it to select our logo. And then on our depth layer, we're going to do the layer mask. Now, let's see. Do I want to go? I'm going to do hard light on this one. And I'm going to drag to about, let's say 25. And then I want to sharpen that layer as well. Now that's what it looks like. Now let's say you want a front and back logo. So let's go back to our front logo. And let's turn on the front logo. And there you have it. You have a front logo and back logo on your shirt. And if you wanted to, you could export that as one texture. It's just whatever you wanted to do. But if you didn't, you could turn off front logo again, and then you would just have your back texture. And you could export it the same way we did earlier. Export, export as. And I think that's pretty much it for just basic logos. And like I said, I don't know, I know Photoshop. There may be other programs that will let you run the Photoshop actions, Avengers actions. If so, that's great. That will be a big time saver. If not, you can still do all of this. It's just going to take a little bit more time because you need to align. But at least with Avengers file, the PSD file, he has those examples so you can align your logo up with his, and make sure it's rotated right. But I think that's it for this tutorial. I hope, like I said, I hope I explained it kind of good. I mean, yeah, I've never really done a tutorial. Well, I've done some, but nothing for this game, I don't believe. I may have. I'm getting old, I'm losing it. But yeah, I'm going to cut this one off, and if you like it, let me know. You can reach out to me on the Discord. I'll have a link there. It's a great place to hang out for Fire Pro. And yeah, I hope you all have a great night.